Most people probably remember Dwyane Wade as the Robin to LeBron James' Batman, but there was a stretch when Wade was as good as any superstar in the NBA. Think of a less jump shooting, more athletic version of Donovan Mitchell, but way better, because he actually carried his team to a championship. In this video, let me be your pro bono psychiatrist / neurologist and help settle things straight. So, how good really was Dwyane Wade in his prime, and was he comparable to the greats in his era like LeBron James or Kobe Bryant? First, let's talk about accomplishments. Wade's resume speaks for itself. The playoffs were already his playground at a time when LeBron was just a league toddler trying to find his footing. When James spectacularly smoked the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2007, Wade had already licked his fingers and eaten them for breakfast years prior. He was a champion and a Finals MVP before LeBron was championship material, a 13-time All-Star, an 8-time All-NBA selection, and a first-ballot Hall of Famer, whose jersey is only the 5th retired by the Heat organization. Wade was a Pitbull Tiger hybrid on defense, never giving up on a chase, and never letting go once he had a hold of the prey's neck. That defensive tenacity earned him 3 all-defensive second-team selections and among the league leaders in steals and blocks as a guard. That quick, athletic, and daredevil style of play earned him the nickname Flash. And despite the flamboyant snatchback dribbles and splitting of double teams, D. Wade was still insanely efficient. Many players were either flashy or effective. But make no mistake about it, D. Wade was both. Although he was only 6'4" with shoes, Wade's skill set was a work of art. Bryant himself admitted Wade was the hardest he ever had to guard on a screen and roll because he'd come off a screen, explode, and just disappear like a real-life noob Sabat. His first step and crossovers were so devastating, they could make the most adept defenders question their career choice. And thanks to his freakishly long 6'11" wingspan and 36-inch vertical, Wade had the uncanny ability to finish at the rim, whether with a thunderous dunk or a crafty layup. I mean, look at this. I wouldn't be surprised if Anderson Varejao sought professional help for PTSD after D. Wade assaulted him on national TV. Legend says local authorities were still looking for the weapon used in the crime. Kidding aside, what made Dwyane Wade so good very early in his NBA career? Well, for one, he played 3 years in college for Marquette, and that allowed him to develop the maturity and leadership skills not commonly seen among rookies, even on James or Carmelo Anthony. Bron and Melo put up better numbers, but Wade turned heads with an outstanding postseason performance that gave everybody a glimpse of the type of player he can become. D. Wade was a veteran in a rookie's body, which was evident in how he carried himself during clutch moments. Picture this. In his very first playoff game, and the score tied at 79 apiece, a rookie Dwyane Wade drew an isolation play against the Hornets' Baron Davis at the top of the key with only 11 seconds left. I don't know about you, but any first-year player put in this situation would have knees shakier than the seismic activity in Japan. B. Diddy wasn't a shabby defender either, and was a strong point guard at 6'3", 220 pounds. Wade smartly shed some seconds off the clock before pulling off his patented snatchback dribble to open up a driving lane. As the Red Sea parted and Davis on his hip, Wade threw a calculated floater over the outstretched arms of Jamal Magloire for the game winner. Maybe none of you have any idea how tough that was to pull off in the first postseason game as a rookie. To put that clutch performance in perspective, MJ had 23, 3, and 10 in his first playoff outing, but that was all for naught in a 9-point loss to the Bucks. Kobe had 2 points in his first playoff game as a rookie, who's barely in rotation, playing behind Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones. Bron did better, tallying a 32-point triple-double, but his first taste of playoff basketball was in 2006, 2 full years since Wade's playoff debut. If there was any doubt about whether that was beginner's luck on D. Wade's part, quickly dissipated in the second round. At that point, Carmelo and LeBron were probably deciding their next summer destination, while Wade continued to put the league on notice. Although the Heat fell short against a more talented Pacers squad with Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, and Reggie Miller, Wade averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 5.7 assists, and took the veteran-laden team to 6 games. After this incredible postseason showing as a rookie, even a blind man can see which direction Miami should go. Make Dwyane Wade the cornerstone of their franchise moving forward. It was probably the easiest decision Pat Riley made in his whole life. While one disgruntled all-time great from the opposing conference was eyeing a possible partnership. And with one whirling dervish of an offseason in 2004, Riley found a way to bring Shaquille O'Neal to South Florida to form a potent tandem with Dwyane Wade. The alliance needed a season to fully gel, and Wade's injuries did not help their cause. The Pistons eliminated the Heat in 7 games in the 2005 Eastern Conference Finals after leading 3-2 in the series. Wade suffered a strained rib muscle in Game 5, couldn't dress up for Game 6, and returned for Game 7 to no avail. The rib issue made D. Wade looking like he endured a Mike Tyson uppercut to the breadbasket, and we all know there was no coming back from that. But 2006 was a different story. Miami had a full bill of health, and Wade was phenomenal in the entire regular season and playoffs. He averaged 27.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, 6.7 assists, and 1.9 steals in 75 games to lead the Heat to a 59-win season. And just when you think it couldn't get any better, Wade messed around in the playoffs and averaged 28.4 points, 5.9 rebounds, 5.7 assists, and 2.2 steals on 50% shooting from the floor and under 81% at the charity stripe. Miami and Detroit met again in the conference finals, but a healthy Dwyane Wade ran circles around the Pistons' defense like he was playing against a bunch of old dudes at the local Y. Except that these old graybeards were top 5 in both offensive and defensive rating, and owned the league's best record in the regular season. D. Wade basically did whatever he wanted, putting up 26, 5, and 6 on a blasphemous 62% clip from the field. And don't get me started about the 2006 NBA Finals. I don't know if there was any other time when these numbers, 34.7 points, 7.8 rebounds, 3.8 assists, still sold D. Wade short, as far as his true impact in the game was. Flash almost single-handedly brought Miami back from the grave after being down 0-2 in the finals. He scored 42 in Game 3, including 12 of the last 20 Heat points after being down 13 in the final 6 minutes of regulation. The game went into overtime, where the Heat prevailed. After a Game 4 blowout win, Wade once again performed basketball CPR to revive the Heat in Game 5, scoring the regulation tying basket and hitting 2 free throws in overtime to salvage the victory. Wade was eventually named Finals MVP, leading the Heat to their first championship in franchise history. All of these by a 24-year-old still on his rookie contract. Riley has been around great players all his life, but even the Godfather was impressed. He made a bold claim back then that at this stretch, D. Wade was far and away better than Kobe, which in hindsight isn't exactly preposterous. Wade was the first in the famed 2003 draft class to take his team to the promised land, while Bryant, at this stretch, was busy going 60 and playing for first-round exits. No disrespect to Kobe, but that's the cold, hard truth. From 2007 to 2010, Wade failed to replicate the playoff success he enjoyed early, partly because of various health issues and the fact that he was basically playing without all-star help. With that being said, the one-man show in Miami produced otherworldly numbers. There is only one person in NBA history to record at least 2,000 points, 500 assists, 100 steals, and 100 blocks in a season. That list starts and ends with Dwyane Wade. He racked up 2,386 points, 589 assists, 173 steals, and 106 blocks in the 2008-2009 season, with 18 blocks short of an encore in the 2009-2010 season. Unfortunately for Wade, the handwriting was already on the wall during the Big Three era. He began to miss more and more outings, especially from 2013 to 2015, where he was in street clothes for nearly 50 games. He willingly gave the keys to the team to LeBron, as he visibly lost half a step and an ounce of athleticism, 2 pillars on which his game was predicated. While he was no longer the D. Wade of old that could obliterate the opposition on any given night, the roster construction allowed him to pick his spots, fill in the gaps, and sometimes put on the Superman cape whenever needed. Case in point, when they were down 1-2 in the 2012 Eastern Conference semifinals against the upstart Indiana Pacers, Wade scored 30, 28, and 41 points in games 4, 5, and 6 to finish their worthy opponents. Those were timely turn-back-the-clock performances, considering they have already lost Chris Bosh in Game 1 of the same series. From there on out, Wade has been the perfect sidekick to LeBron. He was content to be the vulture that only got his share after the lion feasted. Wade averaged 22.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 5.2 assists in 5 games in the 2012 NBA Finals, and 19.6 points, 4.6 assists, 4 rebounds in 7 games in the 2013 NBA Finals. A level below his usual alpha male numbers, but more than enough to get the job done. After the Heat went to their 4th straight title run in 2014, he was basically a shell of his Finals MVP self, averaging 15.2 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. The surgically removed meniscus on his right knee in 2002 has come to settle the debt, and sadly, it took no prisoners. D-Wade's peak may be shorter than other greats like Kobe, LeBron, or MJ, but it was a joy, and as gut-wrenching as any thrill ride known to man. He did his work early, took his team to the conference finals in his 2nd season, and became the finals MVP in only his 3rd year. But that was the time, albeit briefly, that he could possibly be the best basketball player on the planet.